Operation Bambi. SSO warriors captured 3 occupiers and completed the mission with an unexpected rescue. The command of the Special Operations Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine shared a video of our defenders' successful operation this morning. It shows how Special Forces soldiers of the 6th Separate Special Operations Regiment Rangers infiltrated the area of the Russian military's position and attacked the occupiers. Before the battle began, our warriors offered the enemy a chance to surrender, but the Russians refused, after which the fighters launched an assault. As a result of the operation, 1 soldier was killed, 3 were taken prisoner, and weapons, communication equipment, and documents were seized from the enemy. And after the battle, while clearing the enemy positions, the Ukrainian fighters unexpectedly noticed a small deer that had ended up in the combat zone and, due to extreme fear, could not leave the dangerous area on its own. The Special Forces evacuated it to a safe place, and in the unit this episode was named Operation Bambi in honor of the world-famous book for children about the adventures of a little fawn, the film adaptation of which became very popular in the 20th century.
Come on, get out faster. You have a minute. 2nd minute. Go after him.
Part of the settlements in the western part of Crimea were left without electricity after an attack on energy infrastructure. This is reported by the Telegram channel Crimean Wind. In particular, according to information, the Chornomorsk district is completely without power due to emergency shutdowns. And yesterday, the Crimean page also wrote about power outages. As is known, in total, nearly 3 dozen energy facilities in the occupied south of Ukraine have been disconnected from the grid. The commander of the Unmanned Systems Forces, Robert Madyar Brovdi, announced a new mission called Crimean Switch Off. Among the targets are thermal power plants and electrical substations, particularly in Crimea, the Zaporizhzhia region, and occupied Mariupol. Following the dairy special operation aimed at destroying military logistics and isolating the Russian grouping in temporarily occupied Crimea, the commander of the Unmanned Systems Forces wrote that within the framework of the new special operation from July 1st to August 13th, our pilots have already worked on 240 energy hubs. In the morning, the Russians attacked a house in Balabin, Zaporizhzhia region, with drones. The property caught fire, and we are currently clarifying the consequences. And at night, they shelled a retail hypermarket in the regional center. A fire broke out. Pallets, shelving units, and the warehouse roof were burning. The Russians also struck a shopping center in the suburbs of Kharkiv. And in Lozova, 4 people were wounded due to drone attacks. A house caught fire there. In Pisky Radkivsky, a 60-year-old man sustained blast injuries, and in Komarivka, private homes and cars were burning from guided aerial bomb strikes. In the Zolokov community, enemy shells damaged a church and residential buildings. 29 people were wounded over the past day in the Kherson region. Among them are a police officer, a firefighter, and utility workers. For instance, in Darivka, a drone attacked an evacuation vehicle while volunteers were taking people out of a dangerous zone. 8 people were injured, including a 16-year-old boy. Also, Shahed and Gerbera drones flew towards Novovorontsovka and Bilozerka. At least 5 locals were injured. A 3-month-old boy died in Marhanets, Dnipropetrovsk region due to a Russian night attack. The occupiers struck a high-rise building with drones. A fire broke out. 11 people were wounded, 7 of whom were hospitalized in serious condition. Among them are a 5-year-old boy and a 12-year-old girl. 6 high-rise buildings, a shop, a cinema, and cars were damaged. There is also destruction in the Sinelnikova and Samara districts. Since the night, the aftermath of the attack has been being cleared in Marhanets. "437 Ukrainian civilians died in July, and this is the highest number of civilian casualties since 2022. The UN monitoring mission has calculated how many Ukrainians were killed by Russian long-range combined attacks. 2,610 people were injured. The number of killed and injured children also reached a maximum since April 2022. In July, 17 minors were killed, and another 166 were injured. Most civilians were harmed in rear area cities that the enemy attacked with ballistic missiles. According to the UN, The highest number of killed and injured was documented in Kyiv, Kherson, Zaporizhzhia, and Sumy regions. Ukraine has applied sanctions to entities involved in the illegal export of Ukrainian grain. The corresponding decree was signed by Volodymyr Zelenskyy, which implemented the decision of the NSTC. At the Security Council 2 days earlier, a list of 13 sea vessels using the flags of Russia, Panama, Belize, and St. Kitts and Nevis was determined. The sanctions package also included 11 Russian citizens and 28 legal entities. Sanctions have been imposed against the owners of these vessels, their captains, and companies involved in the export of our grain. Ukraine will provide all necessary information to partners to synchronize sanctions in international jurisdictions, Zelenskyy noted. Next, let's listen to his traditional evening address.
We are preparing new sanctions packages against the Russian military industry, against financial chains and intermediaries. Unfortunately, there is still a significant number of Russian enterprises working for the war that are not under global sanctions. And this must be corrected during August and September. We will be speaking with leaders at all working levels. A direct task for Ukrainian diplomacy in significant jurisdictions of the world, those companies and individuals from Russia, those persons who help Russia, whose influence really matters in terms of prolonging this war and the production of Russian missiles and drones, must be under sanctions.
Russia has rejected Turkey's proposal for a truce in the Black Sea. The spokesperson for the enemy's foreign ministry considers it inappropriate for Moscow to return to the Black Sea Initiative, which existed in the first years of the full-scale war, but was ultimately derailed by Moscow. Maria Zakharova also stated that the Russian side had not received any proposals from Ankara regarding the implementation of a moratorium on military actions at sea at all. Meanwhile, her boss, Sergei Lavrov, accused Turkey and the US of the absence of